What about the natural stuff we have with us? What about our organic fruits or organic vegetables? What about the nature's gift that we have with us? Why can't we enjoy those as well also as a part of our diet? So they do give us some positivity. They give us a lot of positive energy into our system. Okay, good evening, everyone, once again. And my name is Kaviraj, and thank you for joining us today. And this session is all about talking about the wonders of vegetarian food. Okay, and I know that this topic is a little different from the regular stuff that we normally speak here on these platforms. So thank you very much, Shivani ji, for inviting me on this platform once again. And I've been doing a couple of sessions with this Eduroutes, in the past, and we had very good response from people. In fact, in the past, they said that they enjoyed the sessions a lot. And food is something that I think connects the world together, and we all agree with that point that food is something which is interesting to all of us, and we all live somewhere, to have good food also as part of our life. So that's the beginning of today's session. I'm going to be talking about a lot of important stuff today. Okay, this session is not about getting very critical about something. Okay, it's not about getting critical about turning vegetarian today itself. Okay, it's not about that. It's about understanding life. It's about what we are going through today in today's times. We know what situations we all are facing, and I think all of us need to smile first. Okay, because come what may, ultimately life is to be lived, and we all are doing that. And we know that the past 1 year, how it has been for all of us, and we've all been through ups and downs. But life doesn't stop there. We have to move on, and we have to be positive about our feelings, about our emotions, about the way we think, and especially the people around us as well. So we have to become strong in many ways, and I think most of you will agree with that. That we have to be positive in many ways in terms of understanding, in terms of thinking, in our thought process, and of course, the kind of positive food involving in our life on daily basis. So with that note, of course, I'll be sharing my screen now. I'll be sharing a few inputs about a small presentation I have for all of you all. And I hope that this session is going to be a bit informative for all of you also, and a bit different from the regular sessions that normally we attend. I'm also going to be talking about something from my life as well. For example, this topic which I'm going to be presenting today, okay, the topic of Western food, what has not been with me since very long time. So being a chef, being from the food industry, being from the hospitality industry, being a food professional, I would say, we work with various kinds of foods, and I myself have been a non-vegetarian, since childhood. So I've been like born and brought up in a pure non-vegetarian background in my house, and I've basically been enjoying variety of food since the beginning. But today, something has brought me here. Something has brought me back to speak about only vegetarian food today. So I hope you all are with me on this track and this journey towards listening to something different here. I'll be sharing my own perspective, obviously. It's basically my experience that I'll be sharing side by side, and it's basically the opinions that probably I have gathered from this topic. Okay, where I have been through a little bit of an introspection in the last 1 year now, and the last 14 months, what I've learned from the situations around us, from nature, basically, that is what I'm here to also share side by side. So with your kind permission, I would now like to present my screen. Okay, so once I'm presenting my screen, I'll also be requesting for a confirmation that you're able to see my PPT. Okay, so I'm going to be getting my presentation on the screen also. So got a small little PPT for all of you, a little bit of information that we're going to see side by side, and I guess now it should be okay. Yeah. So got my PowerPoint presentation ready here. Yeah, so it's visible. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. So first of all, thank you to Eduroutes, and thank you to Ms. Shivani Gupta for once again having me here on your platform and giving me a chance to share a few words about this topic. And the topic entirely talks about Western food here. Okay, it talks about accepting, adapting, and awakening the real self. Okay, so this basically was a tagline which I have put it myself. This is my own understanding of this topic. And what has happened with me in the last few months, okay, is what these three words are telling me there: accepting, adapting, and awakening. And I'm sure most of us agree with these three words because we all have seen the real scenario of the world right now. And somewhere we have started accepting certain things, okay, a way of behavior, a way of lifestyle. We are adapting to new changes every day. Okay. At the same time, we're also getting awakened with new information coming to us also. So we all have to be ready to accept something new in life as well. And this is why I thought of doing this session with all of you today evening. So first of all, very warm welcome once again. And Today we have loads of festivals happening in India. Okay, so first of all, festive greetings to everybody. So we have the Chaitra Navratri, we have Cheti Chand for the Sindhis, we have Gudi Padwa, we have Baisakhi, we have Ugadi, we have the holy month of Ramadan starting today onwards. We have the Biju festival also happening. So lots of festivals happening here, a lot of festive greetings to all of you all. So with a nice positivity, okay, a very good day to discuss a nice topic. 13th of April today, very auspicious day. Okay, so let's start the session. So my little agenda for today, in short, that what are we going to be speaking about is on your screen right now. First of all, what do we mean by this word? Okay, vegetarianism. Okay, first of all, a lot of people think that they're going to be restricted with a lot of things. Okay, so I can't eat this, I can't eat that, and I cannot enjoy my favorite food. So nothing on those lines. It's just kind of a light session. Okay, so don't take it very seriously. Also, just try to understand this slightly different conversation we are having today evening. So let's sit back, chill, enjoy yourself, and listen to the session. And I am sure you'll pick up one or two things that is good from here. Yeah. So the mind, body, and soul concept. Okay, something about how we live our life. Okay, what are we all made up of? Basically, in short, how we think, our basic fundamentals. What we have been born and brought up with. Why do we go veg? Okay, what is the reason behind some people turning vegetarian? Okay, I'll speak about that also. Benefits of going for a veg diet also will be discussed, of course. So I won't be talking about this from a medical perspective, but I'll be talking about it from the food and nutrition background part of it. Okay, so because that's my forte. So I'm not a medical doctor, but yes, I can speak about food because I'm a chef and I'm a certified nutritionist also. So I can speak about positivity about food. But of course, whenever you adapt to a particular diet, okay, definitely you will have to seek some kind of support or advice, medically also, because is it going to be supporting your body? Is it going to be suitable for your body? Is your body okay to accept these changes? So obviously we will need to have a bit of support there also. So do not really fall into something without having the entire knowledge about it. That's my point here. How do you go about it? A few tips I'll be sharing. And of course, change is constant. So we all have been through a lot of changes, and I think change is required here. And why this change is going to be required will be discussed side by side. Okay, so I'm going to keep the message box open on the side. I'm going to be continuing talking as well. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Shiari Ma'am has raised a hand. Okay, fine. So moving to the next slide. Yeah, so just talking about myself in short, I'm sure most of you know me. You have seen the posters already. And basically, I come from the food and hotel industry background. And I've been with this industry for almost now 22 years now. And I started at a very young age. By the age of 7 is where I started my basis of cooking in my house. So food was my first love, my first passion, and still it is today also. So it started very long back with me, and it just happened that I started enjoying cooking in my house first. I learned my basics. I moved into advancement. I did a lot of courses, certifications from various universities abroad as well. And I happened to work with hotels, with airlines, and I specialized with almost 33 international cuisines now worldwide, which I know is a very big number. But yes, passion has to keep on driving us. So there's no end to it. And of course, I love sharing my knowledge. I love speaking about food. I love to share my experience about food. And I love telling stories about, my own experiences. So that's what, brings me to this session of webinars these days, the new normal of today's, communicating on social media. So I really enjoy these kind of activities nowadays. And I'm not very much into this from the very beginning, but yes, I used to do a lot of offline sessions. Normally I'm used to doing a lot of seminars and, speaking to big audiences, doing live cookery demonstrations, for example. But yes, today's conditions, situations are, making us change in many ways. So let's accept the change. Okay, so that's a bit about me. And of course, gradually as we speak about this, a little practical way of life. Okay, we normally hear that practice what you preach. Okay, something that I've been hearing since my childhood, from my school time. And as I grew up, I came across a lot of examples in my life. I came across a lot of situations in my life, which basically made me realize that, are there some changes in life that you can make for yourself? Is it always that what people speak, do they actually practice it, first of all? Not really. Okay, so probably I just thought of modifying the same statement. So I would now say probably preach what you practice. It is not fair to ask of others what you are not willing to do yourself. So this is what probably I've started thinking now. And I think this works very practically for me because I was not a vegetarian. Okay, I have turned vegetarian few months back. And that's what I was going to be talking about. So my own example says that if I can feel the change, if I am able to feel the shift in many ways, okay, not just the diet, but also the mind, okay, the body, the thought process, the entire beneficial elements of turning vegetarian is also a part of this topic. It's not just about, switching from non-veg to veg. It's not just about having paneer and not chicken. It's not about talking only about vegan food. It's much beyond that. So what I'm going to be talking over here is from my own practical example, that how the change happened for me and how exactly do I feel better now in many ways, right from the way I function, the way I speak, the way I think, understanding of people, patience level, lots of things probably I can share on this now. So basically our mind, body and soul, so it's not a spiritual session right now. I'm not talking about spiritualism right now here. I'm talking about that we have heard these words and this is a part of our life. So we do have a mind which is always wandering with thoughts. So we keep on thinking so many things, while we are listening to a session right now, still somewhere, our mind will start thinking about something else. But what about that focus? What about that concentration which we need to have towards a particular topic? Or in life also, there are so many situations in life on which we need to concentrate. So how does that happen? Basically, the body needs conditioning and balance. Okay, we talk about balance, we talk about these words, but when I talk to people, every second person today sounds so different. They sound so very unstable. They sound like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But does that mean that we stop thinking positive? Not like that. And of course, as the soul is eternal, it needs peace. So for that, to condition our mind, to condition the body and the soul as well, three elements of our life, very important there. And this is why I feel that this topic really has a lot of sense towards to speak about it. It's not just only about the diet. It's not about only food. It's also beyond that as well, because we have heard that we are what we eat. We've heard this statement so many times that we are what we eat. So why don't we see what we eat as something better than what we are? So basically, to me, this concept of vegetarianism, if you look at the theoretical aspect of this, we normally say this diet is going to be based on plants and grains. We talk about nutrition level. We talk about, our BMI. We talk about, our daily consumption. What are we supposed to eat? How many calories? How many grams? How many ml? How many glasses of water? I will not be speaking about that. I'll be talking more practically, because if I tell somebody that you have to drink 8 glasses of water per day, it's not going to be happening so easily for all of us. It may happen for some people, it may not happen for some people also. So it's better to talk a little more practical, okay, rather than just putting rules down. Let's talk more openly today, okay? That what we need to understand is the concept. And we don't want to fix any rules over here, okay? It's totally going to be modified person to person. I want to share my perspective today over here, that what I feel about this topic, okay? So I feel that it is required because it's a key to being healthy. It is plenty of variety. People think that there's hardly any variety in veg food, but believe me, there's loads of varieties that we just need to explore slightly. And just open the door towards, creativity and an open mind. It will help your mind, body, and soul. And of course, we normally speak about the word karma, which is the biggest word that we hear nowadays. And of course, karma is not just judgment of right and wrong. It is the attraction of like energy, like energy. What you send out comes back to you. So if you give your body positivity, obviously we're going to be getting positive things out of us. So definitely conditioning of ourselves, our mind, body, definitely will give us a better energy, not only to us, but even our soul as well. So which is definitely a good karmic account we are creating here. And I don't want to be sounding like a spiritual guru right now. I'm just sharing what I have been through myself, the way I could do a small transition in my life, how I could try to take this decision of moving towards vegetarian food is definitely linked to these topics. So let's all live a life of positivity. Okay. Now, a life that we normally want. So we all want to be going out. We love social life. We like to go to restaurants. We like to eat outside. We like to, go shopping and whatnot in life. We like to enjoy. We like to do parties, and we have been doing it over the years. So it's a part of our nature. We love meeting people. We love talking to people. Okay. We want happiness. We want to be healthy. We want contentment. We want to be contented. Now, this contention doesn't just mean about money or salary or having a family or just having a very good health. It's also a balance between what we consume. So the energy going inside our body, also has to be positive, and that's very important here from this topic. Talking about the food and the mood aspect here. Okay, a lot of us have mood swings. I come across this question nowadays on social media. People have been writing to me that how do we have good moods in these times? How do we maintain our mood levels? How do we stay more happy? How do we keep smiling all the time and forget the odd parts of the world, the odd experiences? So I think food is something that can create a good mood for all of us. And only after trying these things, on myself and my family, people around me, only then I can say that yes, it works. It works because in so many ways, fruits, vegetables, the greens that we normally are supposed to consume, the grains and pulses, the nuts and seeds. We have so much of variety in our basket there to pick up and choose that it's possible that we can maintain a good food and a good mood side by side. Now, which kind of foods do you think make us smile a lot? Okay. Now, when I speak to the different age group of people normally, I come across a lot of age groups, where the younger crowd normally they say that, for me, smile is like a burger. For me, smile is like an ice cream. Smile is like a fast food or a junk food, but that's not the end of the world. Okay, we have a lot of other things to enjoy as well. And what about the natural stuff we have with us? What about our organic fruits or organic vegetables? What about the nature's gift that we have with us? Why can't we enjoy those as well also as a part of our diet? So they do give us some positivity. They give us a lot of positive energy into our system, which is easy to digest as compared to the non-vegetarian cuisines that we have. Speaking about the Western diet, okay, now what we normally have heard, we have a lot of research happening, we have studies happening. So what people say is that this diet is more on the lower side with fat content. Okay, depends on, of course, how you cook it. Now, if you're having French fries every day, of course, it's vegetarian, but you're frying it every day, so will not be very, very healthy again there. But it's less content, okay, of fat, originally speaking, okay. So we can avoid issues with, weight problems by turning vegetarian or involving a small amount of vegetarian diet into our foods, into our meals. So in case people are trying to struggle, losing weight, so this would be one advice from my side, that if you try to include a few vegetarian dishes into your weekly meals, it can help you, keeping in mind the proper cooking procedure also. Okay, so say for example, somebody loves potatoes. So I would not say that have potatoes every day. There are ways of doing things. We have, for example, sweet potato nowadays, which is more healthier as compared to regular potatoes. So for example, if I have to make, for example, a potato snack, I would probably avoid the regular potato sometimes, and I'll use sweet potato. And when I serve it to my family, they can hardly make out the difference that it's not the regular one, no, it's not. So it all depends on how do you modify your recipes, how do you make it more interesting for your guests, for your family members, and yes, it works. So slight awareness required here. Okay, slight wise cooking process needs to be a bit wise here, because we normally are used to deep frying. We love the cheese, we love the butter. Okay, we love all those kind of rich products normally in our diets and our kitchens. But yes, keeping in mind we have lockdowns happening, we have a lot of we have to be a little bit aware about our current life that we're living right now. So less activity, less physical activity going on these days, many places of India right now. And how do you balance yourself? That's a big question mark. So people keep asking, what's a healthy month like? I feel hungry in between. I'm working from home, but I feel hungry every 2 hours. What do I do? So all these practical questions, I'm sure most of you even face that as well. But that doesn't mean that there's only French fries to enjoy all the time. There's only chips and wafers to enjoy all the time. There could be options there. There are, of course, so many options also, the healthier ones, which we can try to include as well. So how do you work on a balance is very important here. Also speaking to about the topic here about a veg diet, okay, it has been observed that, personally speaking, also from my side, okay, having a better mood than consuming non-vegetarian food. So after doing a study on myself, and basically, when we talk about different kinds of people in vegetarian, again we have different categories there. So we have people who don't consume egg, and some people consume egg, some of them avoid the dairy products, and then we talk about the lacto ovo, we talk about the other categories also there. So basically, if we talk about so many category of people there, of course. Palak is asking a question. So lots of categories of people we have, where there are also some people who are a bit specific, for example, they would not like to have eggs, they would not like to have particular vegetables, for example. Some of them might avoid, the green leafy vegetables for that matter, or some might be also allergic as well to certain things as well. So there are, of course, some specific diets of people also, which should be considered, of course. And based on that, of course, we can think that. But yes, a study here that shows that people have a better mood effects. Okay, you stay more positive. In fact, from my own experience, I would say this, that you're more lighter in the day. Okay, throughout the day, after consuming a nice, healthy, well-prepared vegetarian meal, low in fat content, low in spices. Not very oily, not very spicy. Also because you have summer season happening here, of course. Yeah. So this is where we need to think of a balance here. Okay. And of course, there are a lot of allergens, as Ferdinand is asking the question. So very nice question you asked. And there are, of course, a lot of allergies today people are facing. People have allergy with mushrooms. They have allergy with garlic. People have allergies with so many vegetables also. So I came across people having allergy with garlic, okay, with mushrooms, with even brinjal, okay, with even eggplant, okay. So of course, definitely, as you realize that you start having a bit of an issue on that, you can seek medical support. You can always have a bit of awareness done on that, and you can try to skip that out of your diet, and you can always include something better also. So yes, some people do have even allergies with even nuts as well. Even with dry fruits, also people have these issues. So yes, we are able to modify things. We are able to slightly twist and turn sometimes, to support our systems. So is it easy to become a vegetarian? Okay, the question that is being asked, is it easy? Most people say no, okay, but I can say yes today because it's worked for me. So I can say yes. Okay, so these are basically my answers right now. So on a very positive note, of course, but I have been eating non-veg since I was a young child. Okay, so lots of non-veg, I would say. And the moment this situation of the COVID-19 pandemic started, and a lot of kinds of work started getting happening from home, and a bit of awareness happened, and immunity boosting foods and whatnot, new words we came across. So slowly and gradually I started feeling that, okay, fine, let me try to do a bit of a change in my diet and see whether it works or not. So it just happened. I mean, it was not something that I had to attend a session, or somebody asked me to stop eating. Nothing on those lines. No kind of medical restrictions also. No kind of health issues as well. But it just happened that I thought of starting it for like 15-20 days, okay, to see a change, how it's going to be helping me out. And believe me, that the first few days were not very easy, because if you're used to eating eggs every day, and you're used to eating chicken and meat and fish and sausages and salami and tuna fish, not very easy in the initial time, because you always start getting those kind of cravings that we say that I've not eaten egg for like so many days now. I enjoy omelets, I enjoy scrambled eggs, I enjoy the anda bhuji in the Indian context. So yes, initially few days it was a little bit of a craving session there, but the mind was working towards a particular transition, that I have to be looking after a particular thought process, that I have made up my mind now. The mind was helping me, the body was supporting me, that yes, do not have any kind of addictions there. Stick to what you have thought. You made up your mind 15 days, stick to it and see how you feel. So initially, yes, even I did face those cravings about missing my favorite non-vegetarian food. But as I crossed the 15-20 days barrier, I was able to tell myself that yes, I can do it, and I didn't really feel that attached to it anymore. And the way I kind of conditioned my diet with so many varieties into it, I started using healthy grains and nuts and seeds, and lots of green leafy vegetables, lots of salads, soups. So being a chef, of course, it was easy for me, I would say, to kind of modify my menus and make changes here and there. But of course, as we know today, social media is so very advanced, and at a click of one button, we get everything nowadays. And it reminds me of the pandemic, when we had the lockdown last time. We came across Facebook, we came across Instagram. Every second person was cooking something. People were making those no bake cakes, and they were making dalgona coffees and whatnot. So everybody started bringing out their inner chef within them, and that was very interesting for me to see. People started doing YouTube videos and sharing their ideas and recipes. So that was a very good thing, and that's how the body, the mind, the actions were telling us so much about it. Yes, we can try to make it happen. And the goal and focus in life, that, okay, I set a target. Okay. So 15, 20 days, move on there, 1 month, cross the 30 days barrier, and then see how you feel. I did it for myself. It worked for me. And today's been like almost like 14 months now. It's been good for me. Okay, I guess somebody's mic is on. Okay, so the goal and focus in life can make it happen, of course. Yeah. And Bhavna is sharing some examples with us right now. The jackfruit and root vegetables, maybe nuggets can be used. So Bhavna, you're a very technical person there. So thank you for your inputs. And that, of course, is coming up in my slides as well. So thank you very much for reminding us that, yes, we have lots of options there. And all the audience here is going to be, encouraging themselves to try these things also. Jackfruit is in season right now. And as I spoke about sweet potato, also a lot of root vegetables there, beetroot, okay, very healthy stuff there for us to explore and try out so many things. Now, how does the body benefit me? Okay, now in various ways, in various contexts, okay, I came across a number of people, okay, who were also following the similar diet like me. Diet as in the change that I thought of doing in myself. So I don't really follow any particular diet as such. So I'm not into diets. What we found that there was a better blood pressure level, okay, lower heart disease risk, cholesterol in check, okay, better brain functioning. Now, medically, of course, yes, there are ups and downs, plus minuses, different people. But overall, if we talk about, what I experienced, what I felt, feeling more light, more fresh, better thought process, because I'm also into writing, I'm into research work. So I was able to have more focus on my topics, on my deadlines, and I could perform better overall, I would say, by having this small little change there. And less of guilt. Okay, if we talk about the anger pangs, we talk about the kind of negative thoughts that come to mind in between sometimes. So I felt that yes, there was a change in me, and I was able to use that in various positive ways for myself. So yes, whatever goes in has to give us a good life also. And how do I start up? Basically, I usually think that when you cook with passion, okay, purpose and intensity. Okay, so for me, cooking is something very passionate because I started cooking when I was 7 years of age. So that's pretty young, when I would say. And from the age of 7, I started, finding myself in the kitchen under the guidance of my parents. Now, this is where I thought that, okay, I do have a potential. Okay, I do have a passion towards growing in this. And I didn't think of anything like a second option or a plan B. Okay. So what if not a chef? I didn't have the answer ready with me. And even today also, I don't really have, a set answer there because I'm very much set in my industry there. And I think a good plan really works here. Okay, when you start cooking something, the first thing should be that do not have distractions near you when you're cooking your food. So distractions, we see people talking on the phone. On one hand, we have the phone. The second hand, the food is being cooked. The pressure cookers are kind of going on, and then we forget the track. Then okay, how many whistles? Okay, so of course the passion, the purpose, the intensity has to be maintained there. Do not have distractions when you're cooking. Keep a very positive thoughts, when you're cooking food, because that really helps a lot. Because that mindset with what you cook is very important here. There are so many parents who write to me that our kids don't eat food, and they have a lot of issues with children not eating particular vegetables, and what to make for them. So a lot of questions I came across during lockdown time, especially last time. And there I was able to kind of counsel a few people, a few ladies, I would say, that with what mindset do you start cooking? If you are cooking a particular vegetable, say for example a bitter gourd, okay, a karela, which many people, the kids especially, may not be in favor of. Okay, and again, you are going to be like, I'm making this vegetable, but where are they going to be having this? They are not going to have this. They're going to make noise on this. And this is where you need to condition your mind. You need to tell your mind, use positive thoughts while cooking your food. And that can really make a lot of difference there. And the most of the some people say a lot of boring vegetables. They call it boring. They tag like boring sometimes. And that particular boring vegetable could become your super hit recipe on your menu card. So always think that when you're cooking something, it has to be 100%. Your mind has to be there. And when people ask me, what is my mantra towards creating a successful recipe? Okay, how do I innovate with food? I'm also known for innovating recipes, or fusion cooking is what I do normally. How do I do it? Okay, so there is no particular set mantra to it. There is no particular secret behind that. It is the passion, the purpose, the intensity with what I cook. And people may find it funny, but I talk to my food. I speak to my ingredients when I'm cooking. I talk to the ingredients there, and when I talk to them, inside I'm speaking to my ingredients. I'm telling them, okay, fine, now it's your turn to go inside, and you're going to be giving me a super hit recipe, come out well from the pan, and that positive energy has to be a super hit on your table there. So try it out and feel the difference there. That thought process, the mind, positive thoughts while cooking can give you a better dish. A well set menu, colors, flavors, and taste. Okay, we all like colors. Okay, we like to make a nice, colorful wardrobe. But what about our food? Why can't we have more color in that? So let's try to not hire a designer for this. You can be your own designer, okay, to design your food. And basically, water, of course, is to supplement. Okay, so water is, of course, everywhere. It's very, very important for us, and you have to be including water in your diets. So got to be staying hydrated, especially summer season. And this season is, of course, a very good start process to start losing weight now. People have been struggling. They've been telling me that, they've been gaining those kilograms and, those inches that are getting tight on the waist. And, there's lots of less of activity happening. The gyms just opened up and again, they're shutting down. Now, what do I do? My walks have stopped. So what do you do? Okay. If you're going to be sitting in one place and cribbing about it, it's not going to work. Okay. So there is a way of starting with what is going inside first. Okay, can we tame that a little bit and then complain less that I'm not fitting into my clothes after the lockdown? So there are ways of doing it, of course. It's the right time to start right now. And let's start doing this. So people aiming at losing weight, lockdown effects, of course, happening everywhere. So we can start today. If you look at that basket there on the picture, on the photograph there, there's so much of color there, so much of vibrancy over there, so much of, textures, colors, flavors there for you to enjoy. And seasonal availability. We all know there's mango happening now. So one of the most interesting fruit that's coming up now, mango. So that's going to be a nice, interesting concept to work with. And here we have a question now. Is the Western diet automatically the healthiest way to eat? Okay, Palak, your question is very, very interesting. And I think I've answered this question even on various other forums earlier. And this question is one of my favorite questions. So is the veg diet going to be the healthiest way to eat? Okay, I think a healthy mind is more important than just a diet. Okay, and as I said in the beginning, I'm not here to convert people or transfer people from non-veg to veg. Okay, I'm here to speak about a concept which I have been enjoying a lot. Okay, since last 14 months, and I'm enjoying this. I'm calling it healthy because it has worked towards making a lot of positive changes in me. Okay, now which diet is healthiest for which kind of individual? That's totally one-to-one personality there, our own thoughts, our own process. But according to me, today, if I have to compare myself, yes, for me, I think a veg diet automatically has turned out to be the healthiest way so far, and I'm enjoying it. So I hope I answered your question there, because I cannot speak on everybody's behalf. I can just speak what I'm being through. So I'm just going to be preaching about what I'm practicing right now, so I can very well answer your question very positively. That yes, for me, it is the healthiest way today, and I'm enjoying this phase of life. So yeah. So what is a good way to start? Okay, now we've been reading a lot of articles, a lot of social media is there to guide us all the time, and we've come across few of these statements earlier also that water content, keep it up. So I'm just saying keep it up. I'm not saying how many glasses per person. Okay, because when you look at some articles there on social media, it will tell you 6 to 8 glasses at least. And I've got people who told me that I cannot have 8 glasses. It's not just going inside. So can I force somebody? Can I tell him that you have to? There cannot be set rules like that. You cannot be numbering the glasses. Every body has its own capacity of taking in water, food, information. Yeah, we talk about students, sitting for online lectures. If I say that you have an 8-hour session to attend, do you think that they're going to be giving me 8 hours of full 100% attention there on the online sessions? There might be a few students here also in this platform. If I make a schedule for 8 hours to sit and only attend online lectures, do you think the student can give me, or my staff can give me, 100%? Okay, we do have the Dr. Asnani here. She's also associate professor. So immediately I got a reply from her. I was expecting your answer, in fact. And you're the first one to say no, because We all know what's happening around us. We know that we cannot. Okay, the mind is not going to be, open to taking so much at one time. A session like this also, if I cross like 1 hour 20 minutes, for example, even that's on a higher side. We normally can like grasp information like about 20-25 minutes max. So we need to be like to the point. And I hate to show like crowded stuff on my screens. Too much of information, too much of slides, too much of written text matter. It doesn't go inside. So how do I tell somebody you have to drink 8-10 glasses of water? It's just not practical. It may not work for everybody. We can just suggest, we can guide, we can advise. So including fresh fruits here, watermelon for me, my favorite fruit there, watermelon, muskmelon, bananas, makes me feel full, makes me feel nice. When I have a banana, I feel good immediately. Okay, chiku apples, yeah. So again, availability, seasonal wise, a bit of variety for me, colors matter a lot here. Eat your fruit instead of drinking juices because the amount of sugar level goes high when you start juicing your fruits. So avoid juices as far as possible. I prefer eating watermelon rather than having a watermelon juice. So I prefer that way. So that really works a lot. And keeping your insulin levels in control as well. Start your day for me. How do I start my day? A cup of hot water, warm water, a splash of fresh lime, vitamin C, okay, and a teaspoon of honey in that. For me, this works a lot. It wakes me up like anything. I feel very fresh when I start my day with this. So I would not start my day immediately with a cup of tea or coffee, the amount of high caffeine content going in the body. For me, that wouldn't really work. So for many, many years now, I've been starting my day with this. And ending my day also with a glass of warm water and going to bed. So your mind is kind of very relaxed and kind of yeah. So that really works a lot. Okay. People keep asking for suggestions on how to start a day. People say have a nice breakfast and what to eat in that. What are the options there? What can I include in my breakfast in the morning? I'm used to only cornflakes. So not really. We have to explore more beyond that. Choice of cereals, of course, we have milk and dairy if you like to have. Because a lot of my friends, a lot of people in my circle have also become vegan now. They're also becoming like anti dairy products also now. So we do have options. We do have whole grains. We have brown bread. We have semolina once in a while. Okay. We have of course brown rice as well. We can have even the steamed recipes like idli, or we have uttapas and dosas and chilas in the Indian cuisine. So we can also use oats as well over here. Even a good porridge works very well. And a lot of steamed dishes that we can do because a lot of people are nowadays working from home. So there is, of course, a little time element you have. You cannot say you don't have time all the time. So you got to make time for yourself, okay, to make a nice meal as well. You got to be timing yourself also. Yeah. Okay. So Mohit is asking what's so good about a Western diet. Okay. So good about it is that it, for me, for my own experience, I'm sharing this, that it is awakened the real self within me. It has made me a more lighter person, a more focused person in life. I'm able to take better decisions and also feeling light, okay, less guilty. Yeah. Must include greens, of course, spinach, kale, fenugreek leaves, okay, methi, very interesting here. Dill leaves, coriander, mint, and parsley. Cabbage, I love purple cabbage a lot. Lettuce, we also hear about tulsi, we know of mulethi as well. Okay, so we can try to include that into our diets. Have a nice tulsi chai, include mulethi into your chai as well. Spring onions also very interesting green that we can use to into our sabjis, into our vegetables. Yeah. So I'll also be sharing a few ideas on how do I plan my menus, for example, what do I have normally for a breakfast, for lunch, what recommendations probably. So for example, for me, a salad is a must. Okay, variety every day. So I make a list of like salads Monday to Sunday. Okay, every day is a must for me. And I also use a variety of ingredients like a bit of pasta sometimes, some noodles, some vermicelli, some brown rice sometimes in salads, and it really makes you feel nice and makes you feel full as well. Yeah. Using of fresh vegetables, using lime and mint. Okay, so we're going to be using refreshing ingredients nowadays, summertime. Avoid oil-based dressings, so slightly skip the oil these days. Okay, and processed foods again as far as possible. Try to avoid the canned products. Okay, if possible, use a lot of fresh stuff. For me, a good dressing usually is with lime and mint. That really works a lot. I also use sometimes a bit of lime, mint, and mustard. Okay, or I also like to, for example, combine ginger as well. So ginger juice, a bit of lime, and some honey. A nice dressing, very light and full of flavors again in that. So I like to shake my dressings fresh, and I like to use that. And I also use fresh fruit puree sometimes in my salad dressing. So Recently, I tried something with even a chiku as well. So nice chiku pulp. Okay, so a nice puree of chiku. With a bit of mint and some chia seeds in that, and a bit of ginger juice. So a nice dressing that I probably could do for a salad with a chiku puree as well. So very interesting concept there. Something with a fruit-based dressing. Similarly, using of fresh herbs, basil, oregano, thyme. Yeah, avoiding too much of vinegar. Yeah, so people keep complaining that we have less of activity nowadays. So people have acidity problems. People are sitting down all the time and working. So eat and sit and again eat and sit, and then hardly any walk happening, no gyms happening all the time. How do you maintain that level of the acidity inside the body? So obviously we have to be balancing our meal in such a way so that it can lead to less acidity into our systems, so we don't have those hard burns. So usually try to have more of a balance of the acidic food in your menus. Don't make it very citrus also. Keep a balance with a bit of honey. Sometimes I also use jaggery sometimes in my dressing, and that comes out nice. So a little bit of jaggery, a little bit of mint sometimes also combination can work a lot. So do not always go too much of citric also, especially during summer times, and you're sitting down all day. It can lead to a lot of even gastric issues also. Yeah. So we have a couple of questions happening there. I'll keep answering side by side. So Bhavna is saying that nowadays millets are in trends. People are avoiding wheat even. Okay. So millets definitely are in trend right now. Okay, millets is something which is very old in our Indian culture, but people have realized now. And in fact, I was doing an article on millets sometime back, and when I started talking to people on a platform that do you know that millets can be used in so many ways? For example, right from a breakfast to a lunch to a dessert as well. And people are shocked that is it really possible that millets have so many uses? Okay, and people are like, okay, now I think I can do this, because this is where I'm saying the awareness. People have to be told that we have so many things already with us. Okay, and then somebody asked me, what about quinoa? People start going with the trends very fast. They hear a new word and they just pick it up, and then how to use it, that's a big question mark after that. And then people start asking now, quinoa को कैसे बनाया जाता है, quinoa से क्या बनता है, इसको quinoa क्यों बोलते हैं, and then all those kind of questions start coming out. And ये quinoa rice से कैसे better है, so all these kind of questions keep coming out. And in fact, recently I was doing a small write up about superfoods as well, where I was creating awareness about these ingredients. And then people start writing back, okay, yeah, I mean, now we understand, at least, that how we can utilize these products also. So yes, millets is a very good example. We talk about java, I talk about bajra, I talk about ragi, so many options there. Yes, the local names probably that people know. And when you say a fancy word sometimes, you get attracted more faster over there, and then you're a bit hesitant how to use it. That is what I've seen. A lot of people start thinking about the practicality, how to use it now. And then you start looking at YouTube videos and you say, this is not my taste, I don't like this. So this is where these sessions can help us to, can speak, we can communicate, we can exchange ideas, and that's how we can try to spread the word of positive food. Now, Dr. Nikhil is asking, should I eliminate meat entirely to get the health benefits of a vegetarian diet? Dr. Nikhil, and I totally agree with you on your question there. For me, when I started doing this for my own self, okay, about a year and a half back now, I stopped entirely. Okay, so I wanted to check myself whether I'm going to be having those cravings very strong. So I stopped entirely at one time. Okay, so I stopped chicken, I stopped mutton, I stopped fish, I stopped egg also. And gradually I started feeling that I didn't really feel the need, because I have soybean, I have tofu, I have tempeh, I have hemp, I have so many things to support me there. I have curd, I have got cottage cheese, I have got lots of support system there. So I don't really kind of want to say that you should do it in phase wise, or in case you're a hardcore non-vegetarian person, you want to take it step by step also, even that's fine. Maybe you can start with one of them first, and maybe you can avoid the red meat first, then you can take the white meat, and slowly, gradually, if you feel, if you're able to balance it, fine, then totally works for you. Because for me it worked because I was able to design my menus in such a way that I was not missing the chicken. I was using my tofu there, I was using my cottage cheese, I was using my soy chunks, so I was not really missing the mutton element over there. So my soya chunk sabji, for example, tastes much better than mutton actually. So so I enjoyed that. So I would probably say that yes, probably be your thought on that, but I would recommend if you can do it even step by step, probably one by one also is fine. Okay, so that will probably kind of take you more easily into the phase, and you will start missing it less. I would feel that way. So for me, basically, a dinner is basically like a soup bowl. For me, soup works a lot. Okay, and a lot of people might be thinking in summertime he's talking about soups. Okay, now soup is something which is not only hot; it can be made chilled also. Okay, so when it's summertime, I also make a lot of chilled soups. I make like cold soups for myself. Okay, and a nice chilled bowl of soup, with lots of fruits, vegetables, and that uh, works well. So soup is not something which is always piping hot and will make you sweat in summertime. I need tissue papers to tap myself and ये sir क्या बोल रहे हैं, like इतनी गर्मी ऊपर से soup पीने को बोल रहे हैं. So it's not about that. We also have cold soups as well. So I also make a soup with celery, with tomatoes, with watermelon, and also using things like a lot of colorful greens. So soups are of course very interesting for me. Colorful, natural, different daily. Try to make them clear as far as possible. Avoid those dark color sauces, very salty ingredients, and avoid preserved things as far as possible. Avoid corn flour if you can, those extra starch that we are just feeding ourselves and stuffing our body with that to make us feel full. So avoid those thickening agents over there. And to me, a good soup is one which is wholesome. Okay, so I also use dalia in my soup. Dalia is very interesting here. I also use oats as well. So that gives me a lot of thickness also. It gives me thickness, gives me body, gives me taste, gives me nutrition also, and makes me feel full as well. So if I take like a 240 ml portion, like one big soup bowl of a soup, for a dinner with a salad, I think I'm good to go because the ingredients going inside that are pretty interesting. So that really takes care of the whole diet. So what should be on my dinner table in case I'm turning veg? People start thinking now I'm going to miss my eggs, I'm going to miss my sausages. Now what to do? So good sandwich concept is also good here. Sandwiches are again like a versatile concept. Change your breads, okay, if you can. A bit little twist here and there. Brown bread, multi-grain, okay. Lots of options there. Recently, I also tried an almond flour bread. Very interesting concept for a sandwich. Similarly, do wraps and roll concepts here. So you can use your, whole wheat chapatis. You can use variety of flours over here. You can use even soya flour to make nice, chapatis for wraps. Inside that, some nice greens, some nice vegetables, some pulses. Do grills, do a lot of stir fry dishes. Avoid too much of sauces, gravies, and butter too much at the end of the day. Go light slightly there. Tofu works very well. It's also filling as well, protein content wise. Okay. If you love paneer, of course, there's cottage cheese. Soya chunks works well for me. Soya cutlets, using the granules of soya bean. I make nice cutlets with that. And that's again very filling. Today, we also have a trend of even mock meat happening. A lot of people who are into food science background, of course, will be aware about this. We also have mock meat trending nowadays. And again, there's a study happening that is it going to be safe? Is it going to be really advisable? What do you think about this? And of course, yes, I'm planning to do a research on that as well. And I do have a few recipes, obviously, shared with mock meat, and it works very well because it has a nice protein content to it. And people who have been having a difficulty of the craving of non-veg, okay, so they kind of get taken care of over there. How to balance my meals? Whole list of ingredients there. You can actually look at the kitchen shelf, and I usually have a small little whiteboard in my kitchen. So I keep writing down what I've not eaten for the last 10-15 days. I keep on repeating those. I make like cyclic menus, and my menu numbers keep changing. So every Monday, then every Saturday, then again Tuesday, then next week. So lots of pulses, loads of lentils. There's so much to explore over here that you cannot say that veg food is boring. It's only the thought process has to change over here. On a healthy menu plan, okay, for example, people have been asking like, what do you recommend or what do you feel yourself? How do you consume? What do you eat yourself? So probably I would start my meal with a glass of water, like sometime before my meal. A bowl of salad, small portion size, really works a lot. Don't really spend too much. Small portion size is important here. You may have varieties, but in small portions. So use a smaller plate if you can. So a bigger plate will make you pick up more food. A smaller plate, smaller katoris, smaller bowls will allow you less food to come inside at one time. And the moment you go for a refill, it also keeps mindfully telling you that you're taking a second portion again. So that way. So bowl of salad there, some green leafy vegetables, 120 grams, a lentil around 120, 150 ml, 200 ml, not very thick again. I like my lentils to be a bit drinkable, not very thick and pasty. Uh, Indian breads, of course, we have rotis, chapatis, we have whole wheat breads there. I also use sago flour sometime back to make my Indian breads. So even sabudana flour for that matter. in combination with multi-grain works very well. Some kind of vegetable stir fry or some kind of a sauteed preparation like an Indian vegetable. So I've got ladyfingers, I've got drumsticks, bottle gourd, I've got green peas, brinjal, potatoes, bitter gourd, so many things to use every day. I keep picking up like one every day for the entire 15-day cycle. So I don't really feel bored there. I keep on trying everything. A bowl of curd, I really advise a lot of curd to be consumed nowadays. It's summertime, so probiotic there. So curd is of course advisable. But plain curd, of course, no sugar in that. Rice, I prefer like once or twice a week. Okay, not every day. I know it's difficult to have the rice cravings. People are fond of rice. Even I am very fond of rice, but now I restrict that to like maybe once or twice a week, and that to a very small portion, like 120 grams max. Sweet dish once a week. Okay, so if you're really looking for a bit of weight control there, you want to be balancing out. Now, I like to eat dates. I like to eat jaggery after a meal. So a small piece of jaggery, couple of dates, variety there for me, and I can probably manage that sweet once in a week also. No water, of course, for 45 minutes at least after the meal. So thinking about the system inside, the gut bacteria, thinking about the internal, kind of ease. So water, of course, slightly later after the meal. And don't really eat very fast. Okay, this is one thing that I've observed in so many people. They hardly chew their food. They eat very fast. They just go on gulping it down. So that's something which I really want to be stressing on here. That eat slowly. Okay, it's not running away. It'll be helping your gut and your digestive system also there. And of course, eating fast also leads to even gas and acidity problems. So that's again one issue where people keep complaining. I've got bloating issues. I've got gas issues. I've had lots of other issues happening. So definitely eating slowly, of course, in peace will work a lot. How do you enjoy your meals? Okay, the veg wonder is going to be where you are excited about your meal. You got to think about your meal a little before your lunchtime. That today in my lunch, I'm going to have this, this, this. So your mind is already ready for it and accepting that. A smile, of course. When you see your food, always smile at the food first. Appreciate your food. You have to offer a gratitude. You got to thank God for that plate full in front of you there. That's the most important part, that you have to be offering a bit of gratitude and always thank God the Almighty for giving us that plate full of food again in every meal. And peace of mind, when you're eating your food, you got to be slightly at peace of mind there. Eating in a very good atmosphere will make a difference. So taking a break from work when you're having your meal time. So when I actually eat my food, I'm like off everything that time, those 10, 12 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. I take a break from everything. No mobiles, no laptops. Okay, that's my time. Okay, no thinking of work that time. Everything switched off, and only one system is on: my food, my concentration, my positive mind, my acceptance. Okay, and I'm eating very mindfully, enjoying every spoon of what is going inside my body. So nothing is difficult. Vegetarian food can be tasty. Yes, it can be. Okay, and nothing is very difficult here. Of course, a slight open mind. Okay, think a little bit differently there. And since you have time with us, we do have time with us every day. And earlier we used to be running across, running behind work, and we had deadlines to meet up with every day morning. So I would say at least a good 30-minute schedule every day for cooking for yourself, okay, for your family, should be good enough with a good amount of planning first. So planning really works a lot here for me. So a good planning of a meal, a menu, working with basic ingredients available around us, because we have lockdowns happening many places, so we will not always get everything. So of course, that's again a big challenge here. But yes, immunity boosting foods are being discussed these days. So what do we, consume? What do we include in our diet so that, we are able to slightly maintain our immunity levels these days? So I would probably repeat those one more time here. So citrus fruits, garlic, ginger, yogurt, spinach can be a part of our diet here, which we should be including every day in our diet process and our meals. Thinking about water, of course, drinking warm water really works a lot. So I think warm water works well for me. And I normally have like a small little jar with me all the time. So hot water, warm water. In case you're able to, of course, think on those lines for meditation, a little bit of yoga, a little bit of meditation in terms of, calming the mind down for at least 30 minutes in a day. That should again be possible. And that can really help us in so many ways also. Yeah. So besides that, using turmeric, using cumin, using coriander is again very effective here, especially during these times. So let's try to include that as well. What else can we have to maintain our vitamin C levels? Of course, so we have amla, the Indian gooseberry. We can have it in our drinks also. We can make a beverage with that. We can also have our spice drinks. We call it as kada in India. We also have those healthy concepts of drinking juices here. So combination of juices. So beetroot, carrot, lemon. We have spinach. We have kale. We have turmeric tea, which is very effective with ginger. So these things should be a part of our system every day, because there's some way we can have a balance in between our system, our body, and slightly, it keeps us aware also that yes, something that is going inside is beneficial. So let's be ready for that also. To promote immunity, we also sometimes, have a lot of, kind of combination of spices. We call it as Chyawanprash in India. So even that is probably being one of the oldest style of, consumption for maintaining our immunity levels. So we have a lot of these readily available companies in the market. So even that's, of course, a part of our system which we can use. If not, I would still recommend to have the golden milk that we call. That's basically turmeric milk, which is very effective. So hot milk with at least, the turmeric powder, boil it together nicely, and have this golden milk at least once in a day, at least, if you can. 150 ml, not a very big portion. Try that. And that should also be keeping us strong, especially in today's times. And this basically is a way of life. Okay, it's not a rule. It is not a system where we have to start today only. It's not a fixed kind of a thing here. It's totally up to us how we want to adapt to something different. So yes, people are, of course, have shared this with me that they had a lot of positivity coming out there. They were able to maintain their weights. They were able to think better. A lot of medical issues got sorted with a lot of people there, with a bit of physical activity also. So that balance between the meal, okay, and the activity, I think needs to be coming to a proper formula, because it's not just only eating the food, the mind, the thought process, and also, of course, a little bit of meditation and a bit of physical activity would be a must. So awakening your inner self over here is good for your heart also, of course. Okay, uh, cancer, type 2 diabetes, blood pressure, asthma symptoms, bone health. Okay, so I came across a lot of people, who shared with me their own experiences, that how it could help them out. So they were, of course, sharing their own ideas, their thoughts with me. That yes, they were able to come across so many issues in their life, by turning a bit vegetarian there. And this diet can also help the environment also, as we are aware about these things, but it was my duty to also talk about this in short, that this diet can also help to reduce the greenhouse emission gases like methane, nitrous oxide, carbon, and of course saving birds and animals from the cruelty of poultry and meat industry. So again, here we have different thought processes. So according to me, what I feel is a part of my topic. So I shared that. And there's, of course, more to this. There's also a lot of veganism happening nowadays. Whether you want to be cruel, you want to be kind. So people keep discussing all these concepts. We have debates also on this topic sometimes. And basically, it's all about a mind process here, that, how we think. And how do you find a good balance basically in life is that the right thinking, of course, matters a lot here. A positive mind and inner self-realization, which I had in my case. I didn't feel like, so I just took a break from there. And I actually gave myself some time to think about it, that is it okay to take a break and try veg for some time. And my 2 weeks challenge became a 30-day challenge. It became like 3 months challenge, and now it's been like almost over like 14 months now, and I'm able to do it. So a self-realization, accepting the change, working on it, patience level, and I didn't give up on my thought process that if I can, if I wish to, I can do it. So on a very concluding note here, on a very positive note, that this kind of concept, okay, can help us to become a more balanced person. Okay, this is basically my observation in my case. A better vision, positive thoughts, better moods, slightly more on the go-getting attitudes to get my work done, to get my tasks done, to get my goals being achieved, better resilience, okay, better levels of self-esteem. I know these words sound a little bit, kind of theoretical, okay, but when you try to apply them in your life, when you feel the change, you can speak about this also. We also have a few more concepts, of course. What we have heard about is veganism. We have plant-based diets that we just spoke about. We spoke about even the whole food plant-based things where you can use your grains, have more nutrient-dense kind of food, where we are getting the full nutrition from the food. Those kind of foods ingredients should be utilized. We also have things like even Ayurvedic cooking now happening nowadays. Ayurvedic cooking, yogic cooking styles is what we call it. So basically these are ancient styles of cooking, which have been happening since so many ages and decades. Part of our culture, part of our system, not today, but since a very old time. So we talk about sattvic cooking nowadays. These trends are coming back. So what is bringing it back? Definitely, there is something that is working in the universe outside there. It's trying to give us a message that yes, to become a better individual, we can adapt to that. We can at least try it out and see how we feel about it. So in case you have any questions, of course, we are now open forum here. In case, we've been actually answering a lot of questions side by side, which gave me a bit of a break from my topic. And we enjoyed the session here. And of course, Bhavna is asking, earthenware cookware can be used. Of course, Bhavna, yes, I do use it in many of my recipes. If I'm doing a very classical recipe, if I'm doing something like, kind of a lentil, or I'm doing a legume recipe, I'm doing a dal preparation. So I do involve a bit of, earthenware cooking in my kitchen. But of course, today we are seeing that a lot of non-stick has taken over a lot of other equipments here. People keep asking about various cooking mediums. It's pretty much okay to use earthenware. I do use it in my kitchen, so it's pretty okay to use it in some recipes. Yes. So in case any one of you have any suggestions here, any kind of feedback, any kind of any kind of improvements for us, or what more would you be looking for in the upcoming sessions? Probably you can even share that with us in our feedback forms. And is it difficult to go vegan? Palak, it's a very nice question there. And even I've been trying to ask myself this question, that is it difficult? I don't think it's difficult. It may be initially a bit of a challenging thing, okay? Because you cannot be enjoying your regular milkshakes. You cannot be having your regular chai and coffee with your regular milk that we're using, the dairy milk. So vegan is again like non-dairy stuff totally there. So there could be an initial shift change, which you may have to adjust with. So I came across this concept, and I spoke to a couple of friends as well on this one, and who are vegans actually, and they advised me that, in fact, they also served me a tea, in which they used coconut milk, and it was pretty light. It was pretty interesting for me to enjoy a chai, a masala chai, with coconut milk in that. And I got to see the recipe. I learned the recipe from my friend, who's a vegan herself, and she showed me how to do it. It's so very interesting that a nice herbal masala chai, with coconut milk element coming in that. But of course, what I normally come across, many people, they say that vegan ingredients are very expensive in India. So people even think about the cost factor also, that it's a little expensive again. So is it going to be easy for us? Again, a matter of personal choice. For me, I don't think it's difficult, but once I start, obviously I can do it. And again, very good suggestion from Bhavna's side. Tofu milk can also be prepared. So I also make almond milk. I also make oats milk in my kitchens. I also use them in my cooking. And I also use, for example, I made a brown rice firni that day, in which I used soya milk. Okay, I also used jaggery in that. So nice brown rice firni concept, with not using any regular sugar in that. I used a bit of soya milk, and I also use oats milk in most of my milkshakes. So even that comes out nice. So it's not very difficult. Nothing is difficult in life. So I think on a very positive note there, we should always encourage people towards trying something new. So a note of thanks from my side. Thank you very much to the entire audience here. Thank you for being very patient and listening to me. And I hope this session helps you in at least some way in life in future. And a note of thanks for Ms. Shivani Gupta and the team of Eduroutes also for having me here. And a very nice session, all of you. And thank you once again. And Palak is having one more question before we leave. Can we get some milk items sometime when trying to go vegan? So we can get some milk items. Obviously, we can, as we shared about the soya milk, we spoke about oats milk as well. Even almond milk is very interesting there. So almond milk also can help us to prepare a lot of items. Like I also make my gravies based on that. I also make vegan recipes. For example, by using almond milk. I also use even cashew cream as well to make my recipes with vegan, because I get a lot of requests. Where people keep asking that I want to make a nice korma gravy, but how do I make it without using those dairy products? So it's very much possible to use that. So lots of options are open there. There are of course a lot of information available on that, and maybe looking forward to doing some session on even vegan cooking sometime. So let's look forward to that also, because vegan is one thing that's in right now. So we can think of doing that also in the future. Yeah. So thank you very much, Shalini ji. Thank you for your comments there and your compliment. Okay, Palak, thank you very much, and I hope everybody had a nice time. And wishing you all once again a very festive greetings here for all of you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah. Shivani ji, thank you very much. I think we are done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank you
the
very much.
wonderful webinar. It's been I learned a lot today from your
Thank
side.
You so much. Thank you. Pleasure being with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Thank you.